Welcome to this third and the final session, the summary for the 8th Adhyaya. We start with the gratitude towards the Lord, with whose grace everything is possible, and the Guru Parampara, through which this knowledge is preserved, transferred to our generation. I pay my respects to our Guruji, Pujya Guruma, with whose grace I am able to learn the scriptures and I am able to share this understanding with you. We start with the prayer. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So as we have already seen earlier, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, which is a sacred and a holy scripture for all of us, is consisting of 18 adhyayas, which is further subdivided into 6 adhyayas each. Currently we are in the 8th adhyaya, and this adhyaya, the first 6 adhyayas deal with the Swarupa of the Jeev, the Tvam or the Aham Pad or Padartha, and which is predominantly oriented towards karma, our activities, how we should do our karma so that it becomes a karma yoga, it forms a sadhana for joining with the union with the divine. The second 6 adhyayas, they mainly denote themselves towards the description of the Ishwar Tattva, the Tat or the Brahma. And currently the 8th adhyaya is also called the Akshar Brahma Yoga, which is Bhakti Pradhan, because if you want to connect to the divine, then it is with devotion that you can connect and understand and love the divine. And the final 6 adhyayas, they mainly devote onto the Jnana, the Aikya Jnana, Asi or Asmi, that is our oneness with the Almighty, the Lord. So that's why it is more knowledge predominant. So the main crux of Vedanta teachings, the main crux of Upanishads, the Vedas, is to get this ultimate understanding, knowledge of Jeev Ishwar Aikya. It is also denoted in the Mahavakyas of the Upanishads as Tat Tvam Asi or Aham Brahmasmi. Means Tat and Tvam both are the same, and Aham Brahmasmi means I, or Ayam Atma Brahma means I, which is the Atma, is the Brahma. So this can happen only with this yoga, the sadhana or the way, the journey to reach this union or final destination is through the sadhana of Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and ultimately leading to Brahma Jnana or Atma Jnana. So this sadhana and sadhya, viveka, is very important. The final goal is to realize with the Lord. That is the final goal of all our human existence, our human birth. That is our final goal, and that's why it is important to understand what is God, how do we understand God. And God himself tells us in this adhyaya that he has many swarupa. In the previous adhyaya also he said he has many swarupas, the saguna sakar swarupa of the Lord, which we considered as the avatar swarupa, or we also call him as Bhagwana, which is the name and the form swarupa. But this cannot be the final swarupa of the Lord. Lord cannot be limited in a name or the form. God is an unlimited power, and that's why we have to understand God in a much better way as the nimitta and the upadana karana of the universe, who is the maker, who is the sustainer, in whom everything sublimes or dissolutes. And this can also be understood as the entire universe, in which the way it is manifested. It's also called the Virata Swarupa or the Vishwarupa, which will come in the further adhyayas of Gita Ji. We can also see the God in each of the human beings as Antaryami, and we can always feel his glory and the grace all the time. And finally, the Lord himself says that his Paramarthik Swarupa, his root cause or his basic cause or his ultimate or original form is formlessness. It is the unmanifest nature or the Nirgun, Nirakar nature, which is also called Chaitanya or Brahma or Atma. When we see it individually, we call it Atma. when we see it on a universal basis, Sarvavyapaka, all pervading, it is called Brahma. And this Sat Chit Ananda Swarupa is the ultimate Swarupa of the Lord, which we all must try to attain, because this is also the original Swarupa of the Jiva, and that's where we have to attain it. And that's why this Adhyaya is called Akshar Brahma Yoga. We have to understand Brahma as the Akshar Tattva, and this is how the Adhyaya starts with Arjuna's questions and how Lord answers to him what is Kim Brahma, and he says Akshara Brahma iti uchyate. So let's start with that. But before that, we need to understand that to reach to this divinity, to this Supreme Self, one of the most important sadhana or the tool or the way to reach this is through bhakti. And bhakti itself is nothing but highest form of love for the God, along with reverence or respect of the highest form for the Lord. That Lord is the, He is the Supreme of the universe, the maker of the universe, and with a very high level of faith, if we do this Shraddha, Bhakti, because the foundation of the Bhakti will be in Shraddha. Unless there is Shraddha, there cannot be Bhakti. And that's why Shraddha becomes the foundation of Bhakti. And finally, Bhakti has to lead to its actual fruit or the great benefit of moksha, liberation, mukti, which is the ultimate goal of any Bhakti, to obtain this Aikya Gnana, because Bhakti itself means duality. Me and the Bhagwan is different. And from these Bheda Buddhi, we have to ultimately reach to see God everywhere, Sarvatra Bhagavad Bhav. And then finally, Abhed Bhav means that we are but one, we are not different. Atma Swarupa, we are all the same, and that is where we have to reach. So, this is the ultimate epitome of Bhakti. In 7th Adhyaya, Lord Krishna talked about various other aspects of the Gnana. He said Gnana, Vignana. I'll tell you both. He talked about the Prakruti, the Para and the Apara Prakruti. He talked about his Vibhutis, how we can see him everywhere, Balam, Balavatam. Then he described the Maya and how the Jiva becomes Moha, develops Moha, the Asuri Bhav, those 4 types of people who do not pray to the Lord, and those 4 types of people who are devoted to him, who pray to him, Chaturvidha, Bhajate Mam, Artha, Jignasu, Artharthi, and Gnani. And then he talks about the devotees of Devta, Karmaphala to them, and then finally he talks about his own real Atma Swarupa. So in the final 2 shlokas, and then the 8th Adhyaya, he talks about Akshar Brahma Yoga. It starts with Arjuna's 7 questions on the subjects, different subjects of Brahma, Karma, Adhyatma, etc. And then Lord talks about different forms of bhakti here, of yoga, yogi, how they do bhakti, and how you can remember Lord at the final moment, the 7th question, the answer to this question. And then finally in the last 5 shlokas, he talks about the 2 paths, journey, gati, after death. What happens, Krishna Marg and Shukla Marg, he talks about these 2 paths. So let's recapitulate the last 2 shlokas of the 7th Adhyaya, which forms the basis of the 8th Adhyaya, because all the questions, the 7 questions are hidden in these 2 shlokas, the final 2. So 29th shloka, Lord Krishna talks about 3 words. Te Brahma Tad Viduhu, means you, after knowing me as this Brahma Swarupa, it says Kritsnam Adhyatmam and Karma Chakilam. So he talks about Brahma, Adhyatma and Karma here. And how, by knowing me in this way, that I am, all this, he says people can achieve liberation. And then in the final shloka of the 7th Adhyaya, he again coins 4 new words, 3 new words, Adibhuta, Adidaivam and Adiyagna. And then finally he says, Prayana Kale Japimam Te Viduryukta Chetasa. When somebody knows me at the time of death, in this way, if he knows me, then he will achieve liberation. So these are the 7 questions which are hidden in Lord Krishna's words in his last 2 shlokas of the 7th Adhyaya, and which forms the basis of the 8th Adhyaya and the beginning of the 8th Adhyaya, which starts with Arjuna's question. In 2 shlokas, he asks 7 questions to Lord Krishna, to which Lord Krishna answers very precisely. He says, Purushottama tat kim tat Brahma. What is Brahma? He says, what is Adhyatma? What is Karma? What is Adibhuta? What is Adidaiva? That is the first shloka. He asks 5 questions to Lord Krishna. And then in the second shloka, he asks two other questions to Lord Krishna. What is in this body? How do we come to know about Adi Yagna? What is that Adi Yagna? And finally he says, those who are devoted to you, Prayana Kale Katham Gnaya Asi. How can we know you at the time of death? At the time of when the body comes to an end and we are passing, the Jeev passes into another Stula Sharira or body, how we can know you at that point of time? These are the 7 questions that Arjuna asks to Lord Krishna, to which he starts answering in the same order as they are asked. So this is the third shloka. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Aksharam Brahma Paramam Swabhavodhyatma Yuchyate Bhuta Bhavodbhavakaro Visarga Karma Sangnitaha. So the first answer he says is Aksharam Paramam Brahma, one that is imperishable. Akshara Tattva. Kshara means one which gets destroyed or perishes, one which gets changes over a period of time. That is Kshara. Whereas Akshara means one that is imperishable. There is no change, it is changeless, it is indestructible, it is imperishable. That Tattva is called imperishable Brahma. And it says Paramam Brahma, one which is the highest form, beyond which there is no other form. So that is the highest level, and that form is the Brahma, he says. And then he says, answers the second question, Kim Adhyatmam, he says, Swabhava Adhyatmam Uchyate. So Swabhava means Swa-Satta, Swabhava. So how this Brahma manifests in different bodies, and we perceive this as consciousness, as Chaitanya, as Atma. So that is the Swa-Satta or Swabhava, and that is called as a Adhyatma. And then he asks the third question, Kim Karma. What is Karma? He says, Bhuta Bhava Udbhavakara Visargaha. Means the cause for all the birth of all the human beings, or all the beings for that matter. Karma is that cause, and which also is signified by giving away, Tyaga. So that is what is Karma. Know this as Karma, he says. So Aksharam Paramam Brahma, it also means this is the Akshar Brahma Yoga. Imperishable in the highest form is Brahma. And this Brahma is the God's highest form. And it is not the form of, the Avatara Swarupa, or the name and the form as we understand God as, which has a birth or which has an end, and that is not the way. But this is the nameless and a formless Swarupa of Ishvara, which is also called the Nirgun Nirakar Swarupa, because imperishable is the highest form of God. And that itself is called Brahma. When we understand this as all pervading in the entire universe, one Tattva which is there everywhere, that is also Chaitanya. And when we see this as limited within one body or one being, we see or we understand this as Atma. And that is what Lord Krishna says, this is what is Adhyatma. And Adhyatma Jnana is also to understand that I am first not this Atma, I am first this Atma. From Anatma, we have to go towards Atma to understand that I am not this body, I am not this mind, I am not this intellect, I am not this prana, I am Atma. So that consciousness is what I am. And after that, we have to understand that this Atma is there in all the beings. It's not just there in me, but it's everywhere. And then we have to understand that this is just the one Atma. There are no different Atma. This is just one Tattva everywhere. And that Tattva itself is called Brahma, when we see this as all pervading. So Atma, Chaitanya, Brahma, all are the same eventually. There is no difference. These are all different words used to describe the different Tattva, the same Tattva. Then it says, Adibhutam Ksharo Bhavaha Purushashti Daivatam. Adibhutam Kshara Bhava means all that is perishable. All that you see that is perishable in this world, all the objects, all the bodies, all the, everything that you see which changes, everything that comes to an end, everything that is all this Kshara Bhava is Adibhuta. And then he says, Adidaivatam Purushaha is Adidaiva. Purusha means the Pratham Purusha, or the first human, the Hiranyagarbha or Brahmaji, who is considered to be the Adidaiva. He is considered to be the Adhishtan of all the Devta. That's how it's called Hiranyagarbha. That is the Adidaiva. And Adi Yagna, Lord himself says, I am the Adi Yagna residing in the body. Because in the 5th Adhyaya also he has said in the last shloka that I am the Sarva Yagna Karta Bhokta Sarva and Suruda. I am the Suruda and Sarva Yagnas Karta Bhukta. So I am there in all the Yagna, Brahmarpanam, Brahma Havi. In that shlok also he says, as Brahma I am everywhere. In the Yajman, in the Ahuti, in all the parts of the Yagna Karma, I am there. So I must be seen there everywhere. And the final answer to the 7th question, he gives a very vivid description, and the entire Adhyaya of the 8th Adhyaya is answering to this question. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva karevaram ya prayati samad bhavam yati nastas yatra sanshaya. Antakale, at the time of death, one who only remembers me while living his or her body and goes on this onward journey will attain me only. So Lord Krishna clearly says that if somebody remembers him at the time of death, he will attain the Lord. And that's why in the Nam Smarana is that death is very important. And the question can come in our mind, how is it possible that at the time of death, when there will be so much of pain, there will be so much of difficulty in breathing, and then the mind will be so much of confused, how will I be able to remember the Lord? And Bhagavan Krishna is so graceful that he himself tells us how we can do this, how we can reach to a stage that we can remember him at the time of death. That's what he talks about. Antakale mam eva smaran madbhavam yati. But mam eva smaran means what kind of bhava? Is it the saguna bhava or the nirguna bhava? It depends on the adhikaritva. It could be formless, nirgun, nirakar swarup. If somebody jignasu, gnani, they may remember God as a nirgun, nirakar, paramatma, where sarvatra they can see the Lord everywhere, and because they can see this abheda jnana of the Chaitanya Swarup, and then it will be Brahmayati. They will madbhava means they will attain the Brahma, and they will attain liberation, moksha. So that is a Brahma Drashti. But somebody who is bhakta, who is a devotee, who has not got this Gnana, Abheda Gnana, will remember the Saguna Sakara Murti Swarupa of the Lord, will be chanting his name, and then that Ishta Deva to which we are constantly chanting, we will attain that Loka, that Ishwara Swarupa, that Deva Loka, or even Brahma Loka. So this is how the further Gati, or how Mama Eva, it understood as Mama Eva Smaran Madbhavam Madbhavam Yati. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tamevaiti kaunteya sada tat bhava bhavitah. So Lord here says that whatever we remember while living this body is something that we have always yearned all our life. So whatever we have done all our life, we will attain or we will do at the time of death. If we have remained in all the Vishaya, Bhoga, and all the sense pleasures and the enjoyments of this life, then the same thoughts will come to us at the time of passing away. If we have spent our time in Ishvara Smarana, Nam Smarana, or we have spent our time communicating or communing with the Lord, then we will always have his name at the end. So whatever we have done all our life, the same bhava will be there. So whatever we do all our life, the same will be there at the time of death, and that will also determine our onward journey. Whatever thoughts we have during our life, whatever we do, at the end the thoughts will be the same, and that will determine our onward journey. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yuddhacha mayyarpita manor buddhihi mame vaishyasya sanshayam. Therefore, Lord Krishna himself gives us the solution, what to do. That's why he says, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu. Therefore, at all the times, you remember me, ma manusmara. And he says, yuddhacha. Means, also do your prescribed duties, also do your kartavya karma. So, he gives us a message that you do both, my remembrance, that is bhakti, and karma. Both are important. Mayyarpita manor buddhihi. Surrender to me with your mind and intellect. Mam eva eshyasi asanshayam, and you will attain me. There is no doubt about it. So, tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yuddhacha means that all our life, whatever we do, we will, at the end of the life, we'll be able to do that, and next life will be dependent on that. And that's why it is important that all our life we should do devotion to the Lord in his Nam Smarana. And Bhagavan himself tells us that you do both karma and bhakti, both. It's not that we have to just remember him, Anusmara, but along with our kartavya karma, we have to constantly remember him for all our life. Only then we will be able to attain him. In this shloka, Lord Krishna tells us that how is it possible that we can constantly remember Him while we do our kartavya karma all throughout our life. It says, Abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasa nanya gamina paramam purusham divyam yati parthanu chintayan. So he says very clearly that with the Abhyasa yoga yukta, with the study of the yoga, chetasa na anya gamina, your mind focused, does not go anywhere, does not waver. Anuchintayan, constantly you keep on thinking about me, and then you shall attain the highest and the divine supreme Lord. There is no doubt about it, he says. Abhyasa yoga means constant repetition and practice. Mind has to be repeatedly surrendered to the Lord, because our mind is trained to go out all the time. It is all bahirmukha. It is very chanchala. It goes to objects, constantly thinks about whatever I want, or whatever I need, whatever I want, some name, fame, money, wealth, all these we keep thinking about this. And then from there we have to constantly hold it back, bring it back and again. And that is the abhyasa that we need to do. For the bhakta, he has to put it in the saguna dhyana or saguna nam of the Lord. And for a jignasu, he has to put it in the atma swarupa, nirgun nirakar tattva. And this abhyasa has to be a lifelong abhyasa. It has to be dirgha kala, means very long standing. It cannot be a few days. But this kind of chintana, constant Ishvara chintana, is important with the faith that Lord is going to give us the benefits, the fruits, with the prayerfulness and with a lot of patience, persistence and enthusiasm. So these are all the characteristics, attributes of a sadhaka, that all this is necessary. Bhagavan himself has said in the 6th adhyaya that this is essential. These kind of attributes or characteristics are essential for the sadhaka. And then in the next shloka, Lord Krishna tells us where we have to think, what we have to think, what we have to meditate on. Kavim Purana Manushasitaram Anoraniyam Samano Smarekyaha Sarvasya Dhataram Achintya Rupam Aditya Varnam Tamasa Parastar. So he says we have to meditate on Kavim. Kavim means all knower. Bhagavan himself is omniscient. Because of him, that everything is able to know everything at one point of time. Not step by step, but at one point of time he knows everything, all the karma of all the beings, the past, present and the future, not just the stula karma but even the sukshma karma, the bhav behind the karma. That's how we can give the karma phala to all the beings. Puranam, which is an ancient, this tattva is very ancient, but it is the same. It is Puratana, but it is Sanatana also. It is the same, there is no change, there is no difference. Anushasitaram, because Lord is the ruler, is the lordship, because His law is only His law is there, where He has made all the rules according to which all the devtas also have to carry out all their duties. Anoho aniyam, it is extremely subtle, more subtle than the subtle. It is that subtle. Sa anusmaregya means one who remembers this kind of a tattva. Sarvasya dhataram, God is the giver of the fruits of actions of all our karma. So because of our karma, we have all the punya, papa and all these determines our future or onward birth, and all these is determined by the Lord. Achintya rupam, this is the rupa of the Lord which cannot be imagined by the senses, mind and the intellect. It is because it is unmanifest, because it is formless. Aditya varnam, but it is effulgent like the sun, because not only it prakash karoti means it, all the knowledge that we can have is because of this Chaitanya Swarupa. So it is not only Swaprakasha, but it is also Parprakasha, and it transcends darkness, as Tamasa Parastat, and one must remember this kind of a tattva. So this is what Lord Krishna says. In the next few shlokas, he talks about how the yogi who has done this kind of abhyasa yoga all throughout his life, what is his condition at the time of the death. It says, Prayana kale manasa chalena bhaktya yukto yoga balena chaiva Bruvor madhye pranama veshya samyaka satam param purusham upaiti divyam. Says keeping the mind steady at the time of death. The yogi who has done all these yoga sadhana all throughout his life with bhakti, with a lot of faith, he has the strength of his yoga bala, and by this he can actually take his prana from the hriday chakra to the bhruva madhye. He says in the center of the forehead, he can just, he can steady the prana shakti there, and then he can attain the highest and the divine supreme Lord. So this is what the Ichha Mrityu of the yogis who have done a lot of yoga abhyasa is describing. Yadaksharam veda vido vadanti vishanti adyatayo vitaragaha yadichanto brahmacharyam charanti tatte padam sangrahena pravakshye. So he says, this is the tattva he is describing, the one indestructible, the imperishable Aksharam tattva, which the Vedvit means the wise people who have already understood the Vedas, Vadanti, they describe this tattva. The Vitaraga, the seekers who have purified themselves by Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, those who want Yatayaha with Vishanti, means by prayatna, by efforts, they want to reach there. And this is where the Yadi Icchanto Brahmacharya, the Brahmacharyas are the ascetics or the tapasvis, those who want to, desire to reach that tattva. Tatte padam sangrahena pravaksha. I shall tell you about that divine position in brief, he says. Sarvatvarani sanyamya manorudhi nirutya cha murdhyadhayatmanah pranam astito yoga dharanam. He says, Sarvadharani Sanyamya means by controlling all the doors of the senses, by steadying the mind onto the heart, Manoruddhi Nirudhyacha, Murdhyan is Brahmarandra Chakra, by steadying the life force in the Brahmarandra, and by steadying the concentration of the mind by yogic practices, he says, and then he again describes what kind of upasanas the yogis do. Omite kaksharam brahma vyaharan mam anusmaran yah prayati tyajan deham sayati paramam gatim. He says by repeating the Omkar, Omite kaksharam, which is the Ek Akshari Naam of the Lord, which is a single letter name of the Lord, and also Vyaharan Mam Anusmaran, by remembering me with the understanding one has to chant the name of the Lord. It is not just mechanically that we have to chant the name of the God. Yah prayati tyajan deham, one who leaves his body, sayati paramam gatim, he attains my highest or divine self, he says, Lord Krishna says. And Om, as we all know, is not just a single letter word of Paramatma, but it determines or it denotes all the forms of the Lord, the Saguna Paramatma as well as the Nirguna Paramatma. Because Om consists of three matras, A, U and A, Ma. And this three matras, they denote or signify on a samashti level, on a universal level, the Stula Jagata, the Sukshma Jagata and the Karana Jagata. That means the gross, subtle and the causal worlds. On an individual level, it signifies the three states of our daily experience. We are awake during our awake stage in the morning. Night time we go to sleep. We sometimes go into deep sleep. But from there we also come back into the dream state. Again go back to the deep sleep. Again awaken up. Again go back to sleep. And then in the morning we again wake up. So these are all the three states of our different forms of our manifestations of our consciousness that we experience every day. These are also denoted by the three matras of the Omkar. And the Adhishtata Devata of these three matras are also there, Vishwa, Tejas and Pragya. And when one transcends all these three matra, we go to what is called as Amatra. And this indicates the formless, the Nirgun, Nirakar, Brahma. So that is what Om determines all the aspects of the Lord. In the next shloka it says, Ananya cheta satatam yo mam smarati nityashaha tasyaham sulabah partha nityayuktasya yoginaha. So he says, for these people I am easily attainable, sulabah partha. With whom ananya chetaha, one who is constantly connected to me satatam, and with a one point focus. Where there is the ananya cheta means the focus is on one point, does not go anywhere, and one who like this, he always remembers me, Nitya Smarati Nityashaha. And then for that kind of a yogi who is Nitya Yukta, who is constantly is a control over his mind, senses and the intellect, for that person I am easily attainable, O Arjuna, he says. So attaining the divine, which is the ultimate goal of our existence, our human life, is it difficult or is it easy? That's the question. Is it Sulabha? Is it Durlabha? but it definitely depends on the adhikaritva, in the suitability of the seeker or the individual, how much sadhana he has undergone, whether he has become pure at heart, at mind, how much is the shuddhi that he has attained. Because people who have shuddhi, who have commitment, who have passion, who have devotion, who have the love for the Lord, and who are able to prioritize their goals properly for them, and who makes all necessary efforts, because efforts are also very important for this person. Lord Krishna himself says that this attaining the divine is not difficult, it is easy. He says sulabha partha tasyaham sulabha partha. But Vedant itself tells us that this is neither sulabha nor dullabha, it is actually labdha. Labdha means it is already attained, we are already there, we are already that Atma Swarupa, we just have to know that we are that Atma Swarupa. So it is actually a sadhana of praptasya prapti, knowing what we are, rather than going somewhere and finding something new. Rather than that, it is what we need to understand, what we to know, that we are the same Atma Swarupa. Mamupetya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmanaha sansiddhim paramam gataha. So he says here, Lord Krishna says that though I am easily attainable, but the fruits, the benefits of attaining me are grand. He says, one who attains me, mamupetya punarjanma na vidyate, means that he does not get a rebirth. And he also shows, somebody may think that, oh, I don't mind having another birth, multiple births in this world. I'm very happy. I'm enjoying all the sense pleasures, luxuries of the comforts of this world and this life. So I don't mind. But Lord Krishna here says, what is the swarupa of the samsara? He says, the jagata. He says it's a dukkhalayam. It is full of miseries. It is ashashvatam. It is constantly changing. It is evanescent. It is very transient. Everything comes to an end. And that great man who has attained me, he does not get a rebirth. He is the person who has got this eternal fruit of this mukti, liberation or moksha. So dukkhalayam is basically, world is full of pain, miseries. That's what Lord Krishna says. Somebody may argue, say, no, there is a lot of happiness here. Yes, world is made up of both sukha, dukkha, but according to Vedanta, sukha is it's all transient, it's all bhranti, and we remember the pain much more often, and that's why these are the dualities of the world, and we have to transcend and we have to rise above these dualities if we want to attain the divine. Ashashvatam is temporary. All the happiness that we see, perceive, is all transient, it is all evanescent, and everything comes to an end one day. And this is the experience of all of us, and that is the nature of this world. Then Lord Krishna in the next shloka describes that how attaining the different lokas, different ishwaras, and how devtas, how that is different from how to attain the ishwara. He says, Abrahma bhuvanan loka punaravartinorjuna mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. So he says all the lokas, abhruvana, from here to the Brahma loka, everything, all the lokas are punaravartino, means it comes to an end, it is all temporary, everything comes to an end, Jiva has to come back. He says, Mamupetya tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate, one who attains me, he is not reborn. So that fruit is very big, very great. Now, in the next few shlokas, it describes the Srushti Chakra, the Kal Chakra, and the Brahmaji's day and night. The Kal Sahasra Yuga Paryantam Arhayat Brahmano Viduhu Ratrim Yuga Sahastrantam Teho Ratra Vido Janaha. He describes the Brahma Loka, the day and night of Brahmaji, and says that even this is time bound, even it has to come to an end. He says 1,000 yugas make one day of Brahmaji. So one yuga means all the Chatur Yuga, Sata, Trata, Dwapar and Kali combined form one yuga. And similarly 1,000 yugas make one day of Brahmaji, and similarly 1,000 yugas make one night of Brahmaji. And the calculated age of the universe is 100 years of Brahmaji's life. And finally it comes to an end. The Kalpa comes to an end, and the yogis who know this Tattva, they know this is the essence of time, and they know this Tattva. Avyaktadvyaktaya sarvaha prabhavantyah ragame ratragame praliyante tatreva vyakta sangyake. So here Lord Krishna tells us about the Nitya Anitya Viveka. He says everything manifests from the unmanifest when the day happens for Brahmaji. So during Brahmaji's day, the Srushti Utpatti happens, and when Brahmaji's night comes, the Srushti Pralaya happens. So everything becomes unmanifest. And that is how this is the cycle. He says things go on, Utpatti, Pralaya, Utpatti, Sthiti, Pralaya. All this keeps on happening. It goes on and on and on, but everything again comes to an end. Bhutagrama sa evayam bhutva bhutva praliyate ratragame vashah partha prabhavatya haragame. And here Lord Krishna says all beings are born and reborn. When the night falls, all beings are, praliyate, means they are destroyed or they get dissolved, and daytime they are again born. So, and this journey of all the beings from birth, death, again rebirth, death, rebirth, this chakra, it happens avashaha. It is helpless. Jiva is helpless. He has no choice. He cannot choose which species he wants the next janma, where, when, what he wants. There is no, it is helpless, Jiva, because Jiva is under the control of Maya. Maya is a Shakti of the Ishvara, which is under control of the Lord. And that's how this Srushti Chakra keeps on happening. Parastasmat tu bhavonyo vyakto vyaktat sanatanaha yah sa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu na vinashyati. But he says the other side, he says that parastmat tu bhavonyat, and that higher than the unmanifest self. The unmanifest self, Lord Krishna just described the Brahmaji, the Maya, all these are unmanifest or unmanifest self. But something which is even different, avyakto, avyaktat, even which is avyakta over the avyaktat, this kind of a tattva is, which is the eternal tattva, which is sanatana. That tattva, that is my unmanifest nature, that is my avyakta bhava. And that divinity, yasa sarveshu bhuteshu, all the beings get destroyed, but this divinity, my param self, my unmanifest avyakta self, which is Chaitanya Brahma, which does not get ever destroyed. Again, it describes Akshar Tattva, is the Brahma Tattva here in this shloka. Avyakto kshara idyuktaha tamahu paramam gatim yam prapya na nivartante tadhama paramam mama. Again, Lord Krishna describes that this Avyakta and Akshara Tattva is the same as the Brahma Tattva. This is Akshara Brahma Yoga, that unmanifest, that eternal Tattva is the imperishable one, Brahma Tattva. Tamhau Paramam Gatim, that is also my Param Gatim, that is also the final destination. Yam Prapyana Nivartante, once one reaches this, one will not come back on the earth. Tatmama Paramam Dhama, that is my eternal abode too, that is my Param Dhama. So Lord Krishna describes here that this is my Param Gati and this is my Param Dhama. Purusha Sapara Partha Bhaktya Lapyastvayannanya. In the next shloka, Lord Krishna describes how we can achieve this Paramadhama, Paramagati, the highest divine supreme self of the Lord. He says, Purusha Sapara Partha Bhaktya Lapyastvananyaya Yasyanta Sthani Bhutani Yena Sarvamidam Tatam. He says that Supreme One, that indestructible or imperishable Brahma, in whom all beings reside, Yasta Sthani Bhutani, says Yena Sarvamidam Tatam, who fully pervades all this, who is Achadit, is all pervading, is present everywhere in the universe. That tattva can only be attained by Ananya Bhaktya Labhyaha. That means it can only be attained by one-pointed devotion, by surrender to the Lord. And so the Lord Himself tells us how we can be attained by Ananya Bhakti, by surrender, by one-pointed devotion. Eknishtha Bhakti is what Lord Krishna Himself says. So one-pointed devotion means with Eknishtha, that we define that this is my Ishtadev and I worship this Lord with all the faith and with all the Shraddha, where this Bhakti also itself means highest love for that God. which is the highest priority for us. It could be a Saguna Paramatma or a form which we can decide, or it could be a Nirgun Paramatma, that our own Atma Swarupa or the Ishvara Swarupa, Swaswarupa Anusandhana. And this one-pointed devotion actually means nothing else but we become one with the Lord. It's a non-separated or an Abheda Bhakti or a Ekatva Bhava Bhakti, where we and the Lord do not remain separate. So that is the level of Bhakti that we need to develop over a period of time, gradually starting from the Saguna Paramatma going towards the Nirguna Paramatma. Yatra kale tvanavrittim avrittim chaiva yoginaha prayata yanti tam kalam vakshyami bharatarshava. So here he says, O Arjuna, Bharatarshava, the highest, the best in the Bharata dynasty, Yatra kale tvan avrittim anavrittim. That path while leaving the body, Prayata yanti tam kalam. The yogis know whether to come back or not to come back on this earth. I shall tell you about the two paths. So in the next 5 shlokas, Lord Krishna is going to talk about the onward journey after death. What are these two paths? On one path, you have to come back. On the other path, you don't need to come back. You may not come back. So that is what Lord Krishna describes here in these two shlokas. Essentially, he talks about the gati or the marga or the path, which is on the onward journey after death. So he says there are two paths. One is the north path, which is also the Uttar Marg, or the south path, the Dakshin Marg. And this Uttar Marg is also called the Devyan or the Surya Marg, whereas the south part, the Dakshin Marg, is also called the Pitruyan or the Chandra Marg. The Shukla Marg is the north path and the Krishna Marg is the south path. So this is what, and he says on one path, the north path, there is Anavritti, need not come back. From there also one can attain moksha from the north, from the Brahma Loka also. And the south path is Avrittin, where one has to come back on the earth after some time. So it says Agni Jyotiraha Shukla Shanmasa Uttarayanam Tatra Prayata Gachanti Brahma Vito Janaha. So it says when people go on this path, they attain Brahma Loka. They don't have to come back. Which is this path? The north path. He says on which the Adhishtata Devta of Agni, fire, Jyoti, radiance, Aha, daytime, Shukla, Shukla Paksh, and Sranamasa Uttarayanam, that is the 6 months of Uttarayana time. They welcome this Jiva who comes on this path, and this is what the people who know about Brahma or this Tattva talk about. And the other path, he says, the Krishna path, Dhumo Ratris Tatha Krishnaha Shanmasa Dakshinayanam Tatra Chandramasam Jyotihi Yogir Prapya Nivartate. Yogis, they have attained these lokas, have always to come back. These are some higher lokas, but when there is Shina Punya, whenever the Punya karma comes to an end, people have to come back and come on the Martya Loka on this earth plane again. So these are the different planes of the earth. As it has been mentioned in our scriptures, there are different lokas. As we understand the Martya Loka or the Prithvi Loka, there is the Swarga Loka, there is the Ishtadeva Loka, there is Indra Loka, then Brahma Loka, all these Shiva Loka, all the different lokas of the different devatas also. So on this path, he says, on this south path or Dakshin Marga, when the Jeev goes, he is welcomed by the Adhishtata Devatas of Dhuma, smoke, Ratri, night time, Krishna, that is the darkness, Kshanamasa, Dakshinayana, the 6 months of Dakshinayana, Tatra Chandramasam Jyoti, attains the light of the moon. That means they attend the higher lokas. But these lokas, they always have to come back. The yogis who go through this path always have to come back. That's why Lord Krishna says in the next shloka, Shukla Krishne Gati Yete Jagata Shashwate Mate Ekaya Yatyana Vrittim Ananya Vartate Punaha. So he says these are the two paths, the Shukla Gati and the Krishna Gati. Both are Shashwate Mate. Jagataha Shashwate Mate means they have been eternally present in this world. They are not new. But only the people who go there keep changing. But these two paths are the same. On one path, when one goes, they do not need to come back. Ekaya Anavrittim Ananya Vartate Punaha. The other path, when the other goes, they have to come back to this world after that punya is, is spent. Naite sruti partha janan yogi muhyati kaschana tasmat sarveshu kaleshu yoga yukto bhavarjuna. So Lord Krishna is now coming to the end of this adhyaya, and that's why his final messages are coming. He says, if one yogi knows these two paths, that these are the two paths on which one we have to come back, the other we don't have to come back. Obviously, his mind is very clear what he has to do. His mind is not mohita, yogi muhyati kashchana. He does not get deluded, never gets moha. And that's why Lord Krishna says, Tasmat, he gives a message to Arjuna, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu. Therefore, at all times, Arjuna, yoga yukta bhava Arjuna, means yoga yukta means be a yogi. He says, and when he says be a yogi, at the end of different adhyayas, whatever Lord Krishna has talked about in that adhyaya, that is the sense. Here it is all the bhakti yoga. Obviously, it means that be a yogi means be a devotee to the Lord, because Lord Krishna has talked about bhakti yoga here. He has shown different types of bhakta, the yogis, how they take chant his name at the end of the life, how he can be remembered all throughout the life, and then how we can remember him at the time of the passing away. And finally, the last shloka, Vedeshu yagneshu tapah suchaiva daneshu yat punya phalam pradishtam atyeti tat sarvamidam viditva yogi param sthanmupaiti chagyam. So he says, after knowing all these, the answers to the 7 questions that Arjuna asked in the beginning of these 8th adhyaya, to which Lord Krishna described in the first 3 shlokas very precisely the first 6 answers, but the final answer to the 7th question Lord Krishna described very vividly all throughout the adhyaya, antakale cha mameva smaran yukta kalevaram. And he says, whatever is considered to be the punya phala of doing all these Vedeshu, Vedeshu means study of the Vedas, scriptures, Yagneshu, doing yagnas, Tapa, doing penance, and Dana, donations. So all these are considered to be Punyakari Phalam. They have all these virtuous fruits of these actions of doing this. But the yogi, he goes Atyeti, he crosses all these fruits of actions and he attains Viditva yogi paramam sthanam upaiti chakyam. He obtains that highest supreme abode of the highest self, because he has understood all these by tattva, all these what Lord has told us, what is akshara tattva, what is adhyatma, what is karma, what is adibhuta, what is adidaiva, how we can see the Lord everywhere and how we can attain him prayana kale, at the end of the life also, how we can do his devotion, bhakti all throughout his life, yoga, yapyasa, yoga yuktena, and ananya bhaktya labdaha. So all this, if we keep in our mind whatever Lord Krishna has said in this adhyaya, then that yogi, having known this properly, he crosses the fruits of all these actions which are given in the Vedas, and he attains the supreme abode of the highest self. And that's why again Lord Krishna says, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu yoga yukto bhava Arjuna. It's a message to all of us seekers through Arjuna, that's why to attain this highest divinity, to understand this Lord in his own Aishwarya, in his own Paramdhama, his abode, to attain him, we must do our sadhana bhakti with the utmost devotion, ananya bhakti, ananya chetasaha, na anya gaminaha. Lord Krishna has said all these words here should be a one-pointed devotion with a lot of concentration, anuchintayan, constantly thinking about him, anusmaretya, all the time thinking about him, tasmat sarveshu kaleshu, all the time we should keep on thinking mam anusmara and yuttacha, and do our kartavya karma. That is the final message of the Lord in this adhyaya. So with this we come to the end of the 8th adhyaya. Om Tat Saditi Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Akshara Brahma Yogo Nama Ashtamodhyayaha Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Raja Aham Tva Sarva Papebhyo मोक्षयिष्यामि मा शुचः। ॐ गुरुः ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वर गुरुः साक्षात् परः ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति।